Good morning. The topic I present here is resource allocation, scheduling resource, and critical path. The allocation of resources to activities will lead us to review and modify the ideal activity plan. It may cause us to revise stage or project completion dates. To lead us a narrow of the time spans within which activities may be scheduled. The final result of resource allocation will normally be a number of schedules. The schedules are activity schedule, resource schedule, and cost schedule. Activity schedule indicating the planned start and completion dates for each activity. Resource schedule showing the dates on which each resource will be required and the level of that requirement. Cost schedule showing the planned cumulative expenditure incurred by the use of resource over time. Scheduling resource. Having produced the resource requirement list, the next stage is to map this onto the activity plan to assess the distribution of resource required over the duration of the project. This is best done by representing the activity plan as a bar chart and using this to produce a resource histogram for each resource. Each activity has been scheduled to start at its earliest start date, a sensible initial strategy since we would, other thing being equal, wish to save any float to allow for contingencies. That is earliest start date scheduling. Changing the level of resource on a project over time, particularly personnel, generally adds to the cost of projects. Recruiting staff has cost, and even where staffs are transferred internally, time will be needed for familiarization within the new project environment. Various ways of prioritizing activities are total float priority, ordered list priority. In total float priority, activities are ordered according to their total float. Those with the smallest total float having the highest priority. In this, the simplest application of this method, activities are allocated resources in ascending order of the total float. However, as scheduling proceeds, activities will be delayed and total floats will be reduced. It is therefore desired to reschedule floats each time an activity is delayed. Ordered list priority. With this method, activities that can proceed at the same time are ordered according to a set of simple criteria, which takes into account activity duration as well as total float, that are shortest critical activity, shortest non-critical activity, non-critical activity with least float, non-critical activities. Then the critical activities, scheduling resources can create new critical path. Delaying the start of an activity because of lack of resources will cause that activity to become critical if this use up its float. A delay in completing one activity can delay the availability of the resource required for a later activity. If the later one is already critical, then the critical one might now have been made critical by linking their resources. As a result of examining the progress information, and comparing it against what was planned. Some remedial action might need to be taken. Instructions may be formulated and passed down to a lower level of management. The lower level managers will have to interpret which needs to be done and formulate more detailed plans to fulfill the directive. As the directives filter down the hierarchy, they will be explained into more detailed at each level. Levels of decision making and information. Each decision made in a project enrollment should be based on adequate information on the correct chart. The type of information needed depends on the level of decision making. Decisions that can be grouped at three levels: strategies, tactical, and operational. Strategic decision making. In this case, the decision to become administratively independent could be regarded a strategic decision. In our example, we were interested only in the payroll, but this might have been part of a wider program which may have affected many other administrative functions. Tactical decision making. The project leader who has the responsibility for achieving objectives will have to formulate a plan of action to meet those objectives. The project leader will need to monitor progress to see whether these objectives are likely to meet and to take action where needed to ensure that the things remain on course. Operational decision. Operational decision is to relate the day-to-day work of implementing the project. Okay, thank you.